Hello everyone and welcome back to our course. In the previous lecture, we learned how to find relationships between numerical variables, and in this lecture, we're going to learn how to find relationships between categorical variables. So let's create a new code cell here and we are going to get started. We are going to use Seaborn again to create what's known as a box plot, and they are going to show us the variation in samples of our data. All right, and it's going to allow us a convenient way to show groups of numerical data through their different categories. I do have to pass in an X and a Y as well as my data. Now, my data is going to be my data frame, but what is my X and my Y? Well, my Y is going to be my sale price again, because again, that's commonly used as a target feature. The price, we're commonly trying to get the price of a house based on its features and make that prediction. Now the X can be any categorical feature we want. So inside of our categorical features here, we can see we have different features that are categorical. And let's choose one of them. Let's choose, for example, let's do sale condition. Okay, and let's use that as our first feature. All right, so I'm going to pass that as my X, and then I'm going to run that code cell. And look at this, we now get this box plot. So we have these boxes, and these represent our distribution of data. So you can see normal, abnormal, and partial. Those are the three types of our sale condition. Then we have sale price as well on the left-hand side. And any outliers, those are created with the little circles here. Those represent outliers. But then the boxes represent the distribution of the remaining data. And we also have a line here to show the mean. All right, next up, let's create a box plot for all of our different categorical features, not just one. So I'm going to make a new code cell. I'm going to loop through all of our categorical features. So I'm going to loop through every feature and subplot in a zip of my categorical features. And I'm going to take my axis and flatten it. And what is my axis? Well, I'm actually going to put to use pyplot to create subplots. I'm going to do, let's do, for example, we can create 4x2 subplots again, and I'll pass in a figure size. Let's do a figure size of, how about 14x14? Again, we can see how that looks. And the result is going to be a figure and our axis. All right, then inside of this for loop, we're going to use Seaborn to create a box plot. X is going to be the feature. Y is going to be sale price. That's the target feature. Oh, I ran it a little too early though. I'm not done yet. After sale price, I have to pass in my data, which is going to be my data frame. And I have to pass in an X argument, which is going to be my subplot. Now I can run my code cell, and we're going to see multiple box plots. Okay, great, here we go. Okay, looks like we may need to make them a little bit taller. Oh, but I believe that these neighborhoods are just because the neighborhood names are quite long, so that's why they get bunched up together. So what we can do, let's see, how many do we have here? We have 2, 4, 6, 7 different figures. So I could even do here 7 rows by 1 column and run this code cell again. And this will give me, oh, okay, it looks like that is a little, oh, that's because I did the size. Here, we can replace the 4 with a 7 and the 2 with a 1. So instead of doing 4 rows and 2 columns, we'll do 7 rows and 1 column. Okay, great. That's just because that's easier to now be able to read our text for the neighborhoods. I'm also just going to increase the figure size. So I just want to change this. Let's change it from 14x14. Perhaps let's do 14x20 just to make it a little bit taller. Then rerun that code cell. Okay, now we have it a little bit taller. And here we can see we now have our different box plots for every single categorical feature. All right, and there we go. We can see the distribution as well as any outliers and the average. And this allows us to really quickly see information about our categorical data. Some of the text is getting just a little bit cut off, so maybe I'll just put this back to 14x14. It'll be a bit smaller to see, but the text will not get cut off. Okay, awesome. All right. Next up, we can continue and we can, let's say, group our different categorical features. So I'm going to make another code cell, and I'm going to grab my data frame and I'm going to group it by a certain category. So let's look at our categorical features and decide which category we want to use to group. Let's do, how about month sold? Okay, then I'm going to go back to my code cell, the last one, and I'm going to group by the column of month sold at the index of sale price, because I still want to get sale price. And then I'm going to grab the median of that and call sort values, grab the index and grab the values. So quite a bit, but that is going to return for us our sorted months sold. All right, it's going to be quite an interesting result. So let's take that sorted months sold variable, and we can get our results in a box plot. So I'm going to call seaborn.boxplot again. I'm going to pass in my X is going to be month sold. My Y is going to be my sale price. My data is going to be my data frame. And my order is going to be sorted months sold. My axis is going to be the axis that I create. So let's just create an axis with pyplot.subplots. We'll pass in a figure size of 14 by 14. And the result of this will be a figure and an axis. All right, and then I can call run here on this code cell, and look at this. Now we have our box plot with sale price versus month sold, and we can see that we have it all sorted. All right, and let's see, what else do we want to do? Let's compare that with what we had previously. So we had months sold previously, but instead of going from 1 to 12 in order, we now have it sorted. And we sorted it by the median of each month. All right, and that is how we can find relationships between different categorical features, and also different categorical features versus our target feature, which was our sale price. Coming up next, we are going to finish off our project and look at how we can build even more complex plots. This will be very exciting, and it'll be a great wrap up to show you the capabilities of pyplot and as well Seaborn. So join me in the next lecture where we will continue and finish our project.